Welcome to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for female entrepreneurs who know they're here to lead, not just build a business. This show is for women stepping into the Alpha Queen era, where leadership becomes identity, power is embodied, and success is created from the inside out. Here, we explore sovereign leadership, expansion, vision, purpose, business, and the inner work that is required to build an empire that fits the woman you are becoming. Strategy matters, but who you are matters more. I'm Karissa Adkins, and this is Iconic Leadership. Welcome to the new standard of the Alpha Queen power. What's up, you guys? What's up, ladies? Welcome back to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for women who know that they're here to lead differently, live boldly, and rise into their highest version of who they are becoming. If you don't know me, I am your host, Karissa Adkins, and today's conversation is for leaders, it's for athletes, it's for parents of athletes, and it's for visionaries who are standing at the edge of change and realizing this truth. What got you here will not get you where you're going. So today's episode is titled Adapt to Get Left Behind, it is Adapt or Get Left Behind, the inner game of elite leadership. And trust me, this is not a surface level conversation today. I have an incredible guest. I'm going to introduce her here in a minute. So yes, with that, my guest today is the coach athletes call when they are tired of playing small. The woman parents DM at midnight because their kid finally believes in themselves again, and the change strategist organizations bring in when they are done recycling the same old solutions that naturally never stick. So she has lived reinvention, she has led transformation, and she has built her entire life and body of work around resilience, adaptability, and of course, inner game mastery. She's a formal multi-sport athlete who's fused elite speed training with corporate change management to create a completely new standard for athletes and leadership development. She's known for reading an athlete or a leader in seconds and shifting their entire trajectory in weeks. She's bold, she's sharp, she's one of my favorite women in this world. She is so kind, she's funny, and she'll just, she's like an amazing hug that you just wish that you could kind of tap into every day. So with that, she's the founder of Adapt Sports Lab, a creator of the Adapt system, and the voice athletes hear in their head when they finally stop doubting themselves. So today we're talking about resilience, leadership, identity, and what it really takes personally and professionally to adapt, to evolve, and to rise when the pressure is on. So if you're ready to stop surviving, change, and start leading through it, give it up for the unstoppable, the unshakable, Miss Amazing Traci Coven's in the house. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much. It's so great to be here, Karissa. I'm so excited for this conversation today.
Me too, girl. I am really, really lit up. I've been kind of counting down the weeks. I knew you were on my calendar. I've been following you. You've been following me. We've known each other for several years now. And
Yes.
you have a huge place in my heart, and I just cannot wait for this amazing interview. I'm sure this will be one of many this year. So I'm excited for our audience to kind of get to know Traci just a little bit more. So with that, Traci, I don't want to waste any more precious time. I want you to take us back to a moment in your life where everything felt uncertain, when the old version of you no longer fit, but the next version hadn't fully emerged yet. What was breaking? What was being built in that particular season? Take me right back to that moment.
All right, we're jumping in deep right off the bat. So there was a season in my life where on paper, everything looked right. I was, and I'm already getting choked up. So I was leading change professionally, teaching teams how to adapt, corporate teams, so high performing in corporate healthcare, teaching them how to navigate uncertainty and how to let go of what no longer worked or what that previous kind of current state was to be able to get to future state. But Karissa, personally, I was doing the opposite. I was honestly a perfectionist. I believed if everything looked perfect, I could outrun the truth. I was holding my life together with this corporate job that I had that was, I was high performing, high functioning, high achieving, smiling through it, while emotionally and physically I was breaking.
Wow.
Um, so the defining moment came one weekend when my cousin was suddenly taken from this world. And in that moment, the illusion of control and kind of hiding this perception of, managing change on the outside, but internally I wanted everything to look perfect. I had a big house on the hill. I had beautiful cars. I had a gazebo in my backyard. I had a waterfall, etc. And what broke was the version of me that I believed perfection was protection.
Mm.
Um, the other thing is that the idea that you can manage change externally while avoiding it internally just really came to light for me.
Wow.
So
So
the second part
you,
of that question is
yeah.
what I was building. Sorry, I had to think for a minute what the second part of that question. So what I was building was alignment. I realized that adaptation isn't intellectual, it's embodied. And you can lead change, coach change, or survive change you can't if you're unwilling to internally embrace it and live it yourself. And so at that moment is when I realized that that season forced me to choose either keep performing a version of myself that looked perfect and acceptable or make a significant change and become someone real.
Wow.
So,
That's incredible. But I'm curious, why did that call that that not amazing, that crazy call came in and you realized that she was no longer, with this world. How did that affect you? Like what hit home for you in that moment?
yeah, so that's when I learned, really the truth about if you don't adapt, you stay the same and you get left behind in your own life. Like God has a purpose for us. And when we're unwilling to align or adapt as he's calling us, I'm sorry to get bring faith into this, but I am grounded in faith. And I think things are always so tough. And so I think perfectionism doesn't stop change, it delays it, Karissa. And the cost of delay is always higher than the cost of change. And so um, that's really what I learned at that moment is that change might be scary, but the cost of not changing is a greater risk than changing.
I think that's an important thing to just kind of keep in mind because I know that fear can hold so many women back from really stepping into their purpose. And you know me, right? I've got my little friend here, Mr. Lizard. So, like fear, do you agree that so much fear holds women back from really changing and adapting? Do you see that in your work that you do now?
Absolutely. For years, I lived in fear of what other people were going to think, in fear of believing, really, and I didn't know this until recently, but really in fear of believing in myself.
Mm.
I was negative and I thought, okay, being a pessimistic would protect me, being a perfectionist would protect me. And so I do believe that what I've learned and learned from you is that on the other side of fear is growth. And that now that's a calling for me. And that's what I continue to teach athletes is that on the other side of fear and uncomfortableness is growth. And so I truly do believe that fear holds so many women back, whether it's in their personal life or their professional life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was once a time in my life, I was about, 14, 15, 16 years old that I had so much fear of the unknown. I had so much fear of what was going to happen. And I truly let fear keep me stuck for many, many years in a really toxic relationship until I made a powerful decision,
Yes.
right? A decision that, kind of forced me to be courageous. And then all of a sudden, on that other side of fear, I was like, oh my God, I'm alive. Like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I'm okay. Like, it's okay. And I think if we can, take courageous action, even if it's like one baby step on that big thing of the thing that we fear, one baby action step can really get us, into a new direction. It can push us into, something really, really good for us. So I'm actually curious. You mentioned purpose, right? So I love talking about purpose. I love working with women with a big ass purpose and dreams. And the women that I love to work with are women who know they're meant for more, even if they don't really know what that really, looks like. So was there a decision in your leadership journey that felt risky, but ended up changing everything for you?
Yes, absolutely. So, um, there was a few. One, like there's been many, and every
Yeah.
day, I mean, I have to make decisions as a mom and an entrepreneur, that are very, very risky. But, just to share a few, again, the first one was choosing to lead by example professionally and personally. I had to stop teaching the concept of adaptability and start living it. And so I want to give you a quick example. During COVID, I really embraced, I'm more of an introvert, and I really embraced, which is wrong, but isolating myself.
Mm,
And our kids, you know, they see what we're doing, they follow what we're doing, they learn from us. And that's why, no matter what profession you're in, entrepreneur or corporate, it's so important to lead by example, because I realized that specifically my son is more like me,
mm,
and he then began to isolate himself.
mm,
And so really what starting to live what adaptability meant to me is that it meant aligning how I operated at home, in
mm,
my body, and in my relationships with what I was asking others to do at work. Integrity is non-negotiable for me, but I realized that at that point there was a gap in my integrity. And so even when it's uncomfortable, I have to lead by example. And so
mm.
that's one decision. Letting go of perfectionism as a form of safety. Again, perfectionism to me, I felt like it was discipline because I had every 15 minutes of my day documented, and I'm going to do this and this and that. And honestly, if I diverted from that, I didn't know. And now I look back at it and realize I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh my gosh, my schedule is off, And so releasing it meant risking judgment, uncertainty, and having everything figured out. And I didn't have everything figured out, but regrowth really required choosing progress and alignment over control and approval.
I love that. So, I've got to experience your beautiful transformation journey. And I remember when we first met, it's crazy that it's been over 2 years. It's insane. But I remember when we first met and what we were working towards at the very beginning. But then I remember you asked me a really powerful question. You're like, how do you remember this conversation where it was like, how do I find my purpose? Like, how do I know what my purpose is? Do you remember what I responded to you?
I believe that I do.
What do you think it was, or what do you recall?
To well, I know that you to journal, you gave me
Mhm.
journal prompts,
That's right.
and to really meditate on it, and think about what my passion was, and what my kind of my genius area is.
Yeah, yes. And just to kind of like what I love that what I love hearing what people take from our conversations and then like what I take. So like I remember the moment where I was like, Tracy, I don't think we find our purpose in a sense like we're not out looking for it. We can't go shopping for it.
Right.
We have to be open to seeing those little, like golden nuggets that get dropped in front of us. And success leave clues, right? Because you was like, well, now what do I want to do? I feel confident. I feel amazing. Like, now what do I do? And you were still working your full-time corporate gig and you were helping, change management and adaptability over there. But we really started to hone in on your purpose and your passion and yes, your zone of genius. And I really want to talk about, your business because you just full-heartedly stepped into your purpose. Once you figured that shit out, ladies, I mean, she was like, "Okay, I figured it out. This is what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it." And within months, she had a full business plan ready to rock and roll. She was executing it. So, tell me a little bit about what your purpose is and what really excites you and lights you up, Tracy.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm so excited to talk about this. My purpose is really helping athletes uh learn. So a lot of like over there are a lot of overlooked and underutilized athletes, and so I believe that it is due to the lack of adaptability, the lack of them being able to really advocate for themselves, so having tough conversations, as well as being able to reset from setbacks or errors. And so my passion really is helping athletes overcome so that they can, if they have a desire to make it to the next level, to go to that next level. But it's so critical because talent isn't everything. And physical performance is very important, but the mindset is what typically holds athletes back. And so my passion, as Karissa said, I am the co-owner of Adapt Sports Lab and the founder of Inner Game Performance, where we fuse sports performance, so speed and explosion and strength, with mindset, so that athletes have an explosive mindset, a powerful mindset also, because really it starts with the inner game and then the outer game really takes over and performs. So that is my passion.
I love that. And what are two or three of the biggest like internal roadblocks that you're seeing pop up in athletes? Like, is it fear? Is it perfection? Like, what are the big things that you really help athletes overcome on the inner side of things?
Yeah, so adapting to change, there's constantly changes, whether it's a lineup change, a game day change, uh audible change, whatever it is. So one is adapting to change. It is also overcoming perfectionism. So many athletes, when they make a mistake, they have such a hard time resetting and going through what we call the rapid reset protocol. And so that's one thing that I teach, is how to quickly reset after an error or something discouraging that happens. And so those are the things. So overcoming perfectionism, adapting to change. But then the third thing that I'm so passionate about is helping athletes prepare for tough conversations and empowering them. I can't tell you how many times, whether it's a college athlete or a professional athlete or a high school athlete, where they're like, oh no, I can't talk to the coach, I can't say anything. But it's so important to be able to talk to the coach, but structuring your conversation in a really strategic way that's positive and outcome oriented. And that's something that I'm so passionate about because of really because of, there's so much mental health stuff going on with athletes also. And I'm not a mental health professional, but I know that, many athletes struggle from mental health. And so I really am passionate about helping them in this area of their inner game performance and athlete mindset.
I love this. I love this conversation because I don't think it's a conversation that's happening enough in the world, right? I think athletes, they focus on physical conditioning, they focus on nutrition, they focus on all of the strategic strategies to build the body. But what you're saying is you're coming in and and that's important, right? That's half of the equation. Um,
Right.
and you're saying the other half really is the mental game and it's the mental health. And I fully agree with this, right? I've personally experienced, young, beautiful athletes who have struggled with mental health. As an athlete, I remember, my coach was always like, Karissa, you know the moves, like you're in the best physical shape that we can get you. You need to go home and mentally rehearse these, routines. I need you to be
Yes.
flawless inside your head so that the competition doesn't, get the best of you. And I think that this is a really important topic. I'm like, who are some of your favorite athletes to work with? Like, do you have specific, niches or specific industries that you, bring in the physical side, but also the mental side for?
Yeah, so we typically we work with both females and males, but predominantly our expertise is in softball, baseball, football, and track, our particular niches and expertise. We work with, high school students. We also work with college athletes, which is so critical because you might play one sport or sorry, you might play one position when you're in high school. And then when you get into college, might be put in a different position. If we have time, I have a really powerful story there. But and then professional athletes as well. It's critical for professional athletes also because they go through the same type of mindset barriers and struggles that high school and college athletes face as well.
For sure. I mean, when we think, I mean, everything that you're even talking about that the athletes go through, entrepreneurs go through the same thing, right? Like fear, judgment, perfectionism, communication. All of these are main critical skills that I think
Yes.
honestly should be taught in elementary and middle school so that when they get to high school, they're not struggling with confidence issues and self-esteem and things like that. So what you are talking about with what you do is across the board leadership. It doesn't matter if
Yes.
you're a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, or you're a pro athlete or an entrepreneur. You guys, you've got to work on the inner game. And you've got to learn how to adapt. So I actually want to shift gears just a little bit. I want to talk about your new best-selling book. You are a part of the Alpha Queen Rising Collaborative Book Project. So question for this is when the opportunity to be a part of the Alpha Queen Rising book came to you, what made you say yes? I mean, what part of your story or your message felt ready to be claimed and shared at a deep level through this experience? What made you say yes?
Yes. So I said yes because I was fully ready to step into who God created me to be, Carissa. Um, After the tragic events that my family, experienced in 2014, which if you're at the Rise event, you'll hear more about. But I spent years surviving, to be honest. I kept moving forward, but I also made a lot of bad decisions in my adult life that really pulled me further from myself. Choices rooted in fear, perfectionism, and the need for approval. And so I knew I was capable of more, but I hadn't fully reclaimed my identity. And so Alpha Queen Rising just really felt like permission to stop editing my story and start owning it, not
I
from a place of shame, but from really a place of responsibility. I was ready to integrate like my faith, my leadership, and my lived experiences with my voice, really without compartmentalizing any part of who I am. So really saying yes was choosing truth over protection,
Mm.
um, and alignment over approval.
I love that. I love that. And you guys, she is towards the beginning of the book, this gorgeous blonde beauty right here. Her quote from her chapter is, "Strength isn't built in the spotlight, it's forged in the unseen battles." And if you guys want to hear about some of the battles that Traci has had to overcome, who has, these battles built resilience. They built the strong, beautiful entrepreneur that we see here today that is so passionate about helping athletes improve mentally and physically. And I love, love, love that. She has an amazing story, you guys. If you have not yet got your hands on the Alpha Queens Rising book, you can go to Amazon, you can get the book yourself. It's beautiful. There's, 9 other, authors in this book. It's an amazing experience that will definitely activate you and elevate you both personally and professionally. So I kind of want to go into, obviously, you're one of our keynote speakers at the Rise event on March 19th. Is there a simple message that you would love to lead, like encourage these women to get their tickets with? Like, why should they come to this event?
This event is going to be life changing. I'm so, so excited for it. Women are welcome. They're encouraged. There's no mean girl vibes or judgment. Something will shift in your life. And so if there's any area of your life that feel like maybe you need a shift in, whether it's your professional life, so leadership, or your personal life, I just encourage you to come and just fully show up for yourself. It takes a lot for us to put other things aside as women in general and as moms, but I just want to so those of you that are moms, we always put everybody first. Women pretty much put everybody first.
Yeah.
And so take the day. It's literally, you can take it as professional development day, and you've got to be there for this iconic event. It's going to change your life.
I love it. I love it. It absolutely is an experience that is going to activate something very,
Yes.
very powerful you or within you, ladies. Okay, so we have like a minute, lightning round here. So when you need to reset your energy fast, what's your go-to song?
Is either "I Am the Tiger, King of the Fight," the Rocky song typically, or I don't. There's something also about Katy Perry and Roar, but "I Am the Tiger" typically is my go-to song. It's like, all right, I got this.
I love a woman who can tap into some Rocky. Those are some of my favorite movies. The like 1, 2, and 3. After that, they kind
Yeah,
of ridiculous. But yeah, when you hear that song, it doesn't matter if you're on the treadmill or if you're behind stage getting ready to speak, right? You're like, I love it.
yeah, I
I love
got
it.
this shit.
Yeah, and that's the identity that you have to have, whether you're an athlete or an entrepreneur. That is for sure. Last question is, what is your favorite thing to do with your kids?
Oh gosh. Spending time, which this is gonna surprise you because cooking and eating meals together. I think, just talking and laughing when we all get together. I have 3 kids, and well, 5 kids together, 3 that I gave birth to, and 2 bonus kids. And when we all get together, we just talk and laugh so much and eat. And so I think that's my favorite thing to do, is just enjoy, time with them, talking, laughing at my house. Literally, we just, gather here and have so many special moments, just talking and laughing and breaking bread.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, connection and memories are created around a dining room table or around the island anymore, standing and laughing and connecting
Yes.
and cooking and enjoying life. And I love that. So, Traci, thank you so much for coming on Iconic Leadership. I really, really, so excited to see you in a couple of weeks. I'm excited,
Yes.
to keep passing this book out. because women need to hear your story. They need to know that if they're going through something similar to what you experienced, that they too can rise above and they can, build that resilience and they can come out of those those fiery moments that we think are going to break
Yes.
us, and they can come out even stronger. So, with that, thank you so much for being on our show. Ladies, join us next week for another powerful episode on iconic leadership. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Iconic Leadership. If today's conversation activated something within you, make sure you subscribe and share this podcast with women who are ready to rise up too. Leaving a review helps this movement reach more women stepping into their power. This is Iconic Leadership.